The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is expected to be a game changer, from connecting China's western region with Pakistan's port of Gwadar to energy and transportation projects. We'll discuss the benefits and challenges for both countries. Hello, I'm Arun Naidu in Washington, D.C., and this is The Heat. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is described as the single biggest comprehensive project between any two countries. China is investing some $50 billion in Pakistan to create highways, railways, power plants, and industrial parks. All the investment is expected to improve Pakistan's economy and promote connectivity in South Asia with China's One Belt, One Road initiative. CGTN's Daniel Khan spoke with the chairman of CPEC in Islamabad about this mega project and what it means for Pakistan.
When President Xi Jinping came to Pakistan in April 2015, he signed 52 agreements with Pakistan. And the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a strategic national project spread over the next 15 years with a volume of about $50 billion. So it's huge. It's infrastructure, it's energy, it's Gwadar port, it's special economic zones and industrial parks. So you're talking of a new level, a new grand scale of cooperation.
Well, joining us now in our Washington, D.C. studio is Haiyun Ma. He's an assistant professor at Frostburg State University. From Islamabad, we're joined by Ume Farwa. She's a research fellow with the Institute of Strategic Studies in Islamabad. Also with us is Zhang. He's a chief correspondent with Shanghai Wen Hui Daily here in Washington, D.C. And Andrew Small is a senior transatlantic fellow in the Asia program at the German Marshall Fund and author of the China-Pakistan Axis, Asia's New Geopolitics. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Hey, Ma, let me start with you. So we have this major project between China and Pakistan known as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, it's also known as. It's been cited as a good example of South-South cooperation. What's been achieved so far?
I think the first purpose of this grant project is to help Pakistan develop economy, to stabilize Pakistan's situation, and also, of course, to expand the Chinese economic power through Pakistan to Indian Ocean, to Middle East, and also beyond. So here, this is a pilot project to symbolize that China really cares about neighboring countries, especially Pakistan.
Okay, let's go to Farwa in Islamabad. And Farwa, Pakistan faces some major challenges in its economic development. One of them are power outages that the country faces periodically. The other is investment. The other is political stability. How does this Chinese investment in the country, this entire project, help Pakistan meet those challenges?
Well, it helps on a lot of levels. I do believe that as an individual or as a citizen of Pakistan, I see that Pakistan has been facing a lot of challenges for a couple of decades. First of all, I would like to comment on power crisis. Pakistan has faced so many damages due to this challenge. We have faced our industry. It's been on very it has moved to other countries, and Pakistan, for all these issues, it has been a country where foreign investors shy away from it. So with all these things, we see that good things are happening to Pakistan, and Pakistan has recently been ranked as an emerging economy by MSCI, and Pakistan has been attracting a lot of foreign investors. It is helping Pakistan on so many levels, on economy, on domestic issues, and political stability. Yes, what Pakistan wants is development and progress, and CPEC, it is all about all these progresses, directly and indirectly. There are so many benefits that Pakistan will accrue from this project. Well, I must say that it is such a mega project that Pakistan has translated with its dear friend China into a huge opportunity to transform its economic landscape and take it to the level that we cannot imagine before.
Right, Song, one of the pillars of the CPEC project, something that we mentioned at the introduction, is the development of Pakistan's Gwadar port. It's seen as a cornerstone, a pillar of the project. Why is the development of that port so important?
I think strategically, Middle East is very crucial for China. And with Gwadar port, China will have a very important alternative access to the region. And from transportation point of view, this Gwadar port, together with CPEC, will provide China a much shorter kind of road transportation for energy import from the Middle East. And from economic point of view, China will have more access to the Middle East countries, to Iran, to Afghanistan, to Saudi Arabia, and I will see the regional economic cooperation and integration to be much more better with the support of Gwadar port.
So in a sense then, China is looking far beyond just developing this port for Pakistan. It's looking to other parts of the world as well.
Yes, yes, correctly. And I think China has a lot of economic interest and also a diplomatic interest with not only Pakistan, but also other Gulf countries in the region and even Eastern African countries.
Right, Andrew, when we look at investment, there was an article in Bloomberg last November which said that after years of what it termed flat investment, it's taken China's pledges of billions of dollars to get overseas companies to look at these challenges that existed in Pakistan and to start investing money right now. Reuters reported that Western investors have previously avoided Pakistan because of security threats, because of instability. But with this Chinese investment, is that now changing?
It's starting to catalyze new investment. Pakistan's economy going into the sort of mid-2000s was actually growing at about 7–8%. Then after the level of security problems that the country faced from about 2007, particularly on maybe a little earlier, the growth rate really took a hit and foreign investors were scared away. CPEC is probably the first really major image-changing shift for Pakistan. The security situation has been improving there already. It had improved in the last couple of years. The number of terrorist attacks had already come down markedly. So the climate for investment and the security conditions on the ground are much better than they were at the peak of the internal crisis. For now, a lot of the new investment that's coming in is still largely under the auspices of CPEC. The hope and the success of CPEC will probably depend on it being able to crowd in other investors as well. And there is clearly interest. There's interest from other European investors. There's interest from Gulf investors as well. And so the hope, I think, for CPEC is that it will really lay the groundwork for a broader return of the foreign investor community to Pakistan that has been nearly a decade, really, of being too skittish to commit.
Right. Haiyun Ma, of course, China's signature regional development program is the One Belt, One Road initiative. How does this CPEC fit into that?
As I mentioned, CPEC is basically a pilot project along this One Belt, One Road initiative. And also, given the historical context, China-Pakistan has been a friend for a long time, for several decades. So now if you have a successful CPEC in Pakistan, which basically I think will encourage other countries surrounding China or beyond Middle East, Africa, especially if you look at other regions and countries, many of these countries and regions face a political instability and even sometimes security issues are challenged. So that's what CPEC, I think, to some extent is a model. It's a pilot project, but basically to not only China, but Pakistan and also other countries in Central Asia to look, all countries can actually build economy, can transfer country into a economy, especially like Pakistan.
Right. Farwa, if we look at this from Pakistan's point of view, here we have China, which is coming in with this kind of investment to build roads, railways, industrial parks, power plants, and things like that. But what kind of challenge would there be for the Pakistan government to provide the kind of security that would be needed for these projects to flourish, for economic development and growth to take place?
Though there were a lot of challenges, but with the commitment of Pakistani government and Pakistani army, we have resolved a lot many issues. I have been in a seminar recently, Pak-China think tank seminar that was held last year in Beijing. I met one of my fellow over there who was a Chinese. He worked over here. He told me that Farwa, I feel too much protected in Pakistan. That's the case with all other personnel too. Pakistan has raised Special Security Division, which composed of 9 security composite army battalions. Then Pakistan has raised special TORs, and Pakistani Navy, it is on guard to secure trade lanes, sea trade lanes. And then we have established other special security divisions by civil armed forces. This is another wing of Pakistani forces which are supposed to secure all these projects. Well, but I must commend that these issues of terrorism, it is not something which is only happening to Pakistan. Even Brussels is not safe. But with the commitment of Pakistani government and civilian government, we can hope a lot. And I think that this issue has been tackled with the commitment of these two wings of Pakistan government.
Zhang, this is a regional development project, but there is one major power in Asia which is not very enthusiastic about CPEC, and that is India. Mm-hmm. India has a problem with that because the corridor runs through Kashmir, and of course that's a disputed territory. What can China and Pakistan do to allay the concerns that India has?
Yes, I think India has been having very complicated attitude toward this CPEC project, and they, from one angle, hope to see stability and the transportation establishment and also economic growth in the region, and they will benefit from that. But from another angle, they are worried some of their own concerns. One is about this Kashmir issue. And I think the most important issue is for China and also Pakistan to assure that this CPEC will not touch the sovereignty issue of Kashmir.
That's the issue, right? Sovereignty
yes,
is the issue.
And
yeah.
I have heard Indian side has been asking different things on this issue from Chinese side, like they wanted less investment from Chinese side on this Kashmir territory. And they also want this line of CPEC to be a little bit adjusted to make it short, at least in Kashmir area. I think China will spend a lot of energy and time to assure that in the future, CPEC will be very helpful for Indian economy. And also this dispute on Kashmir will be not so much relevant when it comes to India.
Andrew, just as we mentioned a moment ago, China is looking at this project not just in Pakistan, but beyond Pakistan as well, with the development of Gwadar, the port over there. Now, the Iranians want to be part of that project as well. There's been talk of Gwadar and the Iranian port of Chahaba supplementing each other in maritime trade. What are the chances of that happening and Iran being incorporated into this project?
Well, there have been quite advanced discussions between the Iranian and the Pakistani side about coordination, not just of Gwadar and Chabahar, but the CPEC and broader integration from Iran into the project. There is, of course, some sensitivity about this issue. India is investing in Chabahar, and there are some who would like to see Chabahar function a bit more as a rival to Gwadar. But in fact, there's actually some quite good reasons to see the two ports as functioning on a complementary basis. Gwadar is a deep water port. It can actually function as a more effective transshipment hub for some trade for Chabahar, which is not. In some respects, both ports can help galvanize some economic development in the Baluchistan provinces that span the two sides. And I think in practice, at an official level, the inside the countries, there is an attempt to try to push the coordination element rather than the competition element, which I think still it exists more in the minds of strategists than I think some of the economists and logisticians and the people that are actually working on these projects on the ground.
Okay, we are going to take a break right now. Next, we'll discuss how the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor could bring an infusion of jobs. Stay with us, you're watching The Heat.